Dub Nation, it's Draymond Green. Tip-off is coming later today with the great Tim Roy, and then tune into the Morning Roast tomorrow morning for the best Warriors coverage.
Draymond Green, do you want him back on this roster? Now, we know he's a four-time champ. He's heading to the Hall of Fame. Defensive Player of the Year. For many seasons, the heart and soul of the Golden State Warriors was their defensive leader. But where are we at now as we head into 2024? Where are we at with Draymond Green, Warrior fans? 888-957-9570. I want to have a nice philosophical conversation about this roster and whether or not Draymond Green fits it or whether or not you just want to see the youngsters. It's simple. I mean, it's a complicated question because I get the attachment to Draymond Green, the emotional attachment, Shasky. But do you want him back after going through everything? Starting with last year, because last year was exhausting. And Draymond Green, another thing he said, it was tough for him to go to work last season. It was tough for him to go to work last season. I think there's just so many things.
I mean, this is the thing that I keep coming back to. This is year one of a 4-year extension.
I know. And the end of the year, the end of this contract, he's got a player option.
I mean, within this year, he's been suspended multiple times.
It's unbelievable.
It really is.
He played 33 games. He's missed more than half of them.
I mean, all because of himself.
Yeah.
Like, no one to blame but himself. And, people could say, like, oh, you're not a champion without him. I don't know if you're a champion with him. Like, I think you're damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Yeah. Can we do some on this show? Pardon me. On this show. Because I was listening to Steiny and Goo yesterday. They're doing a great job covering the Warriors.
Oh, Steiny's in his bag. A team demising, Steiny in his bag.
It's so weird.
It's like Peyton Manning.
Team wins. Team like the Niners wins. It's like, oh, I got no content. I got nothing. Oh, my God. A team loses. Oh, boy, we're in business. But they were discussing. They were like, are they a championship team with Draymond Green? I don't think so. No, they're not a championship team. Let's just take the championship off the table.
Yeah.
This is not about championships.
But here's the problem. I agree with you, and I think you agree that they're not a championship team. But why they are assembled the way they're assembled, in part, is because they view themselves as a championship team.
Absolutely.
And that's where I have a big disconnect with just where they're at. I think that they're not being realistic.
Yeah, I think
internally, externally, etc.
It's feeling very Giantsy.
Yes,
it is.
They're in the Giantsy zone. That is such a good call.
But when it comes to Draymond Green and all the events, we could chronicle them all. Right now, they're not a championship team. So if they're not a championship team, do you want to go through the Draymond Green experience? Because look, is he going to be a changed man? He told us he's not changing.
Come on.
Now, is the counseling helping? Where's he at with the counseling? I have no idea. We had Anthony Slater on yesterday. We have no clue. No clue what's going on. It's hard for me to see Draymond Green not being the Draymond Green that we all knew and grew to love. And the same guy that we are kind of growing to be like, you know what? We want you to stay away. It's very strange. I don't know the answer to this one, Shasky.
If you know people that have been doing something for 10 years, okay, anything, pick whatever it is. And Cat Williams has done different jokes about this over the years. But if you've been doing something for 10 years and then all of a sudden I see you for a couple of days and you say you're a changed person, it doesn't mean you're a changed person. No. You might be in that moment. But we judge true change, no matter what it is. And I don't want to make correlations to addiction and things like that. Those are serious problems. Anger management's a serious problem. Something I've been dealing with. It is a minute-by-minute, day-to-day assessment, and you're working on it. So let's say, hypothetically, Draymond Green comes back, okay? And B, he's good for 2 or 3 games. And there's an incident, right, in game 4 where he could do something. And all of a sudden he chooses not to or is in control of his emotions. Yay! That doesn't mean that, all of a sudden a week from then he doesn't do it again.
Yeah.
Because that's how it works.
Right.
That's how these things work. Whenever you're trying to change habits and break habits, you are constantly monitoring and assessing them. And that's why people have slips in rehab.
Right.
I mean, it happens all the time.
Right.
I got off the wagon. Now I got to get back on. You hear about this no matter what a person is trying to go through, whether it's a diet, whether it's breaking, a drinking problem, or a substance problem, or an anger management problem, or an emotional abuse, or swearing, or whatever it is.
It's going to be very interesting if he does come back. And I don't know where the Warriors are at with it. Now, Steve Kerr did mention them yesterday. We'll play that sound, but let's get Junior and Pacifica on here.
I would like to hear.
Junior, the question's simple today. 888-957-9570 as we get ready for the Denver Nuggets and the Warriors tonight at Chase Center. Where are you at with Draymond? Would you like him back on his roster?
Hearing the question asked directly, my answer surprises me. The answer is yes. We have gone this far with Draymond, and I'm not a fan of all the junk that he's putting everybody through, including his own self. Look what he's doing to his legacy. But we have rode this far with him, and right now we couldn't get a dime on the dollar for his talents because he's on the edge with the league, right? So we got to bring him back. We got to see if Warriors culture is strong enough to reintegrate him, if he's strong enough to change. And then we get to the end of the season. And, yeah, the roster's too crowded with too many pretty good players, right? And only one truly great one at his level of play at the moment. I know Clay is a great player as well, but he's kind of up and down. So we get him back. I want to make a comment, too, about you guys working together. Shasky, you should listen to some of the cuts from when you went off, and clearly you didn't want everyone in your business. You just wanted to be off and do your thing, and I've been there. I know that time when you're expecting as a family. Bonte had your back so good, man. I mean, give that a listen. You got a wartime consigliere with you and stuff going on.
I'm aware of that.
Things are flying by, and he had your back. He made it sound like you were having the most fun in the world, yes, without ever hinting what you were doing.
Hey, Junior.
He flirted with those other people. Yes, man.
Hey, Junior, I know how to sell water to a well, man.
And let me tell you, you know what? To be quite frank, I can wear on people. Like Draymond Green, I can be the exhausting guy in the room.
Junior, good call,
Sometimes when you go away from someone, you appreciate all the little things of what makes them special.
No, man, we all wear on
a little
people.
time away.
We all wear on people. We all wear on people. I know etiquette. Wait for my next vacation. Steve Kerr was asked by Willard Dibbs.
It's a shame. It's embarrassing, really.
Wait, is that World Series champion Bruce Bochy?
Yeah, World Series
champion. The guy we ran out of town?
No. According to Andrew Bagley, they didn't run him out of town. Even though Sabian went out with Larry Krueger said that's exactly what happened. So who do you believe? Farhan and Bagley or Brian Sabian? I'm going to roll with the Godfather, Brian Sabian. Steve Kerr asked why Draymond Green is away from the team. Here's what Steve Kerr said to Willard Dibbs.
The thinking when he got suspended was this was not a sprained ankle, right? This was not an injury. This is, I think without going into specifics, I think it was generally understood that he needed to work on some things. And so I think when you look at it in that lens, it's understandable that work would be away from the team. And he's been working out, so he's still training and keeping himself in shape. But, we took this very seriously in terms of his, what's happened over the last year, the anger management stuff. Again, this is not just let's, ice your ankle every day until it gets better. It's a different deal. And I think, Draymond has needed the space to be away in order to work on that.
Whenever I've had issues with individuals, my wife, family members, whatever, the thing that I have the toughest time doing is quantifying or measuring growth, improvement, right? Like in the relationship, in the trust, right? How do you measure those things? So let's say like right now, Draymond's doing, then Kerr said it, anger management stuff. All right, well, how do you quantify that he has changed? Like all of a sudden you put the lasagna in the oven and ding, the timer tells you it's been 35 minutes, pull it out, Draymond's ready to roll. Like, I think it's easy to say. Yeah. It's hard to actually measure on a day-to-day basis.
You have to see him go through those experiences. Exactly. What happens when he gets a bad foul call?
Exactly.
And Gucci Man, James Williams is the referee. And Curtis Blair, or those clowns that was in Sacramento last night. What happens in that situation? What happens when he gets a little tussle?
What happens when you go to Memphis and they're all screaming at you?
Going to Minnesota playing Rudy Gobert again.
That's a good point.
What's going to happen? What is going to happen when you see Nurkic again? Sabonis. What's going to happen there? 888-957-9570. I want to play this one before the break because I want people to chew on this one, Chasky. Steve Kerr, here's $1 million question from Willard Dibbs. Is there any chance Draymond doesn't return to the roster this season?
I mean, I don't know that there was ever any timeline given. You know, when someone is suspended indefinitely, that just means they're suspended indefinitely. There was never a time frame given, and so we're just going along with the process. And as I said, I'm busy with the team, and Draymond's working on his stuff, and the league will work with us, and we'll see where it all goes.
We'll see where it all goes.
That's the most non-committal answer. I mean, if you wanted him back, yeah, we're going to get him back at some point. We don't know when, but he's coming back.
He's coming back. We haven't heard that yet.
That's the most non-committal I think Kerr's ever been regarding Draymond.
And I understand where Steve Kerr's at here. I got to coach the team on the floor. This guy, we gave him $100 million. He said it was the most important season of his career. We think we're a championship team with him, and he's let us down. In the first 33 games of the season, he's missed more than half.
How long have you been talking on the radio about Draymond and the Warriors? How long?
A long time.
Like 7 years, 8 years?
Long time.
Okay.
Long time.
Doesn't it feel like right now we're in that moment that we all knew was coming, which is the beginning of the end of the Draymond Green Warriors experience?
I want to pick this up because there's something that happened on the morning roast when we first started with Nick Friedel that I want to get to because it's pretty funny that you bring that up. And I was thinking about this last night, watching basketball and thinking about Draymond Green. We'll pick that